Welcome everyone to Brian's Action Figure Reviews. We're here for another Retro Wrestle Chat, myself and Tubbs. How are you, Tubbs?
Good, buddy. How's the form? How is the form?
I haven't filled it out yet, but it's probably fine.
It always is. You find a balance and it'll all work out.
So it's episode 42. We're closing in on that magic 50. Now, before we go any further into Retro Wrestle Chat, this will be going out on a Monday. So last night, hopefully, we had a very successful first episode of the Brian and Tubbs Culture Cast, which is a new live stream show we're going to do hopefully every Sunday, depending on how things go. And eventually, when we get to 50 on Retro Wrestling Chat, it will be taking its spot. Sad. Because I think, I know Rich left for similar reasons, but I think once we've got to 50, we're kind of scraping the barrel and stuff like that with matches. And we kind of already are, but I think 50 is a good number to finish the show on. What do you think?
Well, I mean, look, as I said, I'm with you on, as it is your show at the end of the day, but I do agree that it's a good run, dude. Do you know what I mean? It's been a fucking bones doing this show. You know, like, did we ever think we'd get nearly a year out of it? You know, and it's not like we're leaving, to separate and part ways. We're just moving into a different style of content.
We're
different
evolving.
Forum. We're evolving, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, me and Brian have a lot to talk about. Outside of the wrestling as well. So we just thought that, like, yeah, look, well, when Brian pitched the idea to me, I was like, come on, let's do it. You know me, I will follow my Monday wrestling wife across the seas at this point.
It's Sunday. Yeah, I know it's Sunday now, but yeah.
Yeah, we do know.
But
you know what
basically,
I mean.
Before we get on with the show anyway, what the Culture Cast will cover, if you've seen it, you'll know. But what we'll cover is movie news, Marvel news, DC news, all that kind of pop culture shite that I talk about on the rest of my channel anyway, action figure stuff. And hopefully there'll be guests dropping by from week to week as well. I have a few lined up already. So we'll have a proper old larf. Now, with all that admin out of the way, episode 42, and this week was my choice. And I picked CM Punk versus Raven from Ring of Honor, Death by Dishonor 2003. And that was a dog collar match. And I watched it twice. And my first impression, because I didn't really pay attention to it, was dog shit. But I went back and watched it a second time with no distractions, and the result was a lot different. So, Tubbs, what did you think of this? First thoughts?
Okay, where do I start? I love CM Punk, you know this. And I like Raven. I thought Raven had a cool gimmick and stuff, but Christ, I mean, like, look, one thing I will say about this match is that they harpered on it being like a blood feud, and they did beat the living shit out of each other. But my God, I don't know. Yeah, this match really kind of like didn't hit me in the right places at all. It really didn't.
Like, yeah, I tend to agree with you. The first time I watched it, I had the laptop on my lap and TV in the background. That's never a good way to watch anything anyway. But I found myself looking away all the time because it didn't catch my attention at all. But I did enjoy the first 10 minutes of CM Punk basically being CM Punk.
Now, like, don't get me wrong. Those kind of things, and it wasn't even, as I said, there was things that happened in this match where I was like, that's fucking class. Like, there was a spot in the crowd where Raven was on the steps and Punk pulled the collar, and like he literally fell down a flight of stairs.
Down the stairs, basically.
Like, that's fucking creative. Like, that's really cool. But there was a lot of things in this match where I was good. Like, the minute for me, you know yourself, I've always said it, the minute a match goes into the crowd and stays there, it has the potential to be great, or it has the potential to die on its heels. Right? But you also put in a stipulation with a dog collar and you're already taking a lot of what a wrestler can actually do in this match. Because, do you know what I mean, this is young CM Punk, like, you know what I mean? This is like really early era CM Punk. And it was very different. It was Phil Brooks, CM Punk, talking shit on the mic, which everyone knows he does, to the highest standard. And can I just ask you one more thing?
Go ahead.
Why does Raven always end up crucified on something in these matches? Like it doesn't matter if it's the ropes or an actual crucifix or a fucking. He always ends up crucified. I know it's part of his shtick or his enemy's shtick to do that to him, but I did like the little things as well with the whole beer thing. You know, there was one moment where Punk had him like crucified on the ropes with duct tape, and he went and poured a beer down his neck. Because, you know, he was like, "Oh, you're an addict," and you could hear someone from the crowd going, "I cannot believe you gave him a beer." I was like, look, lads, people say I take this stuff too serious. I was going, buddy, you need to take a step back. Like, I mean, they're obviously in a storyline, but no, there was some great spots and moments in it. I did like, but yeah, it just did not land where I felt it would. For me, it was very much like when I picked the Kevin Owens Eddie Kingston match,
which was also Ring of Honor.
Also Ring of Honor, and I was just going, oh man, I really, really thought this was going to be way better than I thought it was because of the two guys that are in this. You know what I mean?
I think Punk was bust open far too early as well. Yeah, I thought CM Punk as well. He was burst open far too early, and it really, really lost the impact as the match went on.
Well, I mean, for me, it was one of those things where, like, you know, you had. I mean, I get the whole concept of it. You know what I mean? Like, this was like a blood feud between Raven and Punk, and Raven hadn't beaten CM Punk, and do you know what I mean? And it was one of those things where he was talking not much shit, and then was pure reluctant, then it being as the crowd issued his name, CM Pussy, you know, because he was being an absolute pussy about putting on the collar, didn't want to even get into it, even on the mic. He was even saying, "Oh, look, we could do one of those street fight matches things that you used to do in ECW, you know, that you love to do, you know, instead of getting the dog collar match on." But I mean, and it was grand, you know, because I saw an AEW match not so long ago, dog collar match, and it was fantastic.
Cody Rhodes and Brody Lee. Oh,
brilliant. Absolute brilliant. But you know yourself, I mean, we've talked about this for 42 weeks every single day. Some stipulations are very, very, very hard to pull off in matches, man. You know, when it comes down to certain matches, like, you know, like the strap matches and the hood, you know, the hood matches and things like that, they're very hard to make entertaining. But for me, it was like this match went outside way too fast. It was like, and I understand why, because it's Raven. Raven's the ECW guy, you know, so it's all hardcore. Do you know what I mean? And you even saw that later in the match when Dreamer showed up, you know. And actually, on that note, I remember ECW, right? And I don't remember every single ECW wrestler's finisher being a DDT. What the fuck was that?
Well, to be fair, now Raven always had the even flow DDT.
Oh no, he did.
In WCW as well.
But
and Dreamer always had the Dreamer Driver.
Yeah, but wasn't his fucking finisher move? Correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I'm probably wrong. But wasn't his fucking finisher Death Valley Driver?
It was actually. You're right. Actually, it was. There. So now that I think of it,
I see like Raven gives Punk the DDT as he does because it's his finisher, and then Dreamer comes out, even the odds, and gives him a DDT. I'm going like, all right, like, and then they crucify Punk in the same manner. This is what wrecked my brain. I was kind of going, like, okay, that spot took you so long to set up, and now you're going to go and do the same spot and take as long to set this up.
And undo Raven's fucking tape as well.
Yeah, and undo Raven so he can get back in ring. And that kind of wrecked my head. I get it. It's character building. He's finally got Punk where he wants him. He's going to talk shit and then he's going to pour the beer down his neck. And because he's straight edge. But I was going, like, the mics and the footage from 2003 were like, couldn't understand half of what Raven was saying for one.
Yeah, because I found the fucking commentators were talking over every time one of them got on the mic as well. It was so annoying.
And yes, it wrecked my brain.
And we're frozen.
Or if it's Brian, but someone's
Yeah, there we go.
frozen,
Come on.
it's probably me. It's
I'm back.
probably me. It is me. Jesus Christ. Fucking stupid internet. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, yeah.
I can put this anywhere.
Fuck me. Like, Raven's on the mic talking, and the commentators are talking over it. And you could already not hear Raven clearly. So I was going, I don't even know what he's actually saying.
I don't know what the fuck he was saying, to be honest, man.
No, I just don't know. And then, no, but look, there was a few good spots in this, like that fucking chair shot that fucking Dreamer hit Punk with at the end was lethal. He just buried his fucking head in with it, like.
So, Tubbs, what was your low points and high points of the match? Start off with the low points, maybe.
I genuinely have more low points. My low points were the crucifixion spots, the double crucifixion spots. They just went on forever, and it was like they were repeating the same shtick to get to the end. Then you had Colt Cabana come in and, like, you know, try fuck Raven over. Actually, to add to my point I said earlier, Raven gave a DDT in this match, and Dreamer gave a DDT in this match. But we forget that when Colt Cabana came in,
Cabana did as well.
He gave him a fucking DDT as well. Fuck me, there was DDTs and fucking presentation in this match. Yeah, it was just that. But the whole crowd thing, I mean, I get it. It's a fucking, it's like, this is what I can't understand about these matches, right? I'm just going to go in. I know I'm ranting about this match, but street fights and Falls Count Anywhere matches, I can totally understand those matches ending up in the crowd or the backstage area, because there's no kind of, like, there's no restriction to, like, leaving the ring. You can just, you know, that's the whole concept. You know, you fight in the crowd, you just bring the fight, you fight everywhere. A dog collar match, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the whole concept of wearing the collar to make it harder for someone to escape the ring?
Well, it's to stop well, in this case, they kind of said it. The Punk was out kind of running from Raven. Was to kind of stop.
Well, yeah, exactly. So my point is if Punk was going to run from Raven and he has a collar around his neck, wouldn't that give Raven more cloth or cloud, whatever the word is, to pull him back in and keep him within the confines of that ring?
The Raven then is I suppose, just as happy for it to go out into the outside and what have you.
No, I get that, but my point being is, what was the point of having the dog collar match if that was the point? Then I mean, they could have had a street fight, or like a Chicago street fight, or some shit like that, and then just went all over the building and done exactly what they did in the match. But I remember most, as I said, the concept of these matches are great on paper. But the execution was a 50-50 split when it comes to these matches, because anytime I've ever seen a dog collar match, and the concept and the purpose is to keep the guy from getting away, so that next year you have a collar. So, you know, it's like there was one point that they did use the collar really well, was when Punk did try to get out of the ring and Raven pulled him back and started hanging him on ropes. Like, I was going, all right, oh cool, he's trying to keep him in the ring.
Yeah,
it lasted all of 2 seconds. They were outside, Punk was busted, and then they were just went off. So yeah, the entire when they left, once they left the actual ring area and went into the crowd, there was a couple of good spots in there, but I just felt they stayed in there way too long, and they lost my interest like midway through. Yeah, so it was a lot of that shit. I mean, and the referees talking over fucking what I felt Raven getting his, Punk getting his comeuppance from Raven should have been, like, clear on the mic, and you should have heard everything Raven said, because he had got him back and he poured beer down his throat. But the commentators were speaking over it, and it was kind of, I don't even know what he's fucking saying to this guy now. I heard something about your father, so I was like, all right, he's actually referring back to what Punk said at the beginning about his drunken father. That's what he's on about there. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was very, I felt it just, this match was probably, seems like a masterpiece on paper, but the execution itself, yeah, a disaster piece. But when they came down to executing it in the ring or not in the ring, or whichever way you want to look at it, yeah, I don't think it. Now look, I could be fucking told I'm wrong, and there could be 100 other people that loved this match to death, because the crowd seemed to be well into it.
I looked in the comments of the video, and the amount of people that said, "Oh my God, what a fucking classic! This is amazing," etc., etc., etc.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen matches that I've felt were classics. You've seen matches that you felt were classics. That's the whole concept of this show, and that's wrestling. And we're never going to agree on all the same matches. We're never going to agree that, like, you know. And I said at the start of this video, I'm a big CM Punk fan. I like Raven, you know. But this match, this one here, just did not land for me.
For me, the poorest spot. I'm only going to mention one because I think you covered the rest, but. The worst spot of this.
What?
The worst spot of this match for me was the finish. How fucking weak sauce was that finish? Raven pretty much died from that DDT from Colt Cabana. Did he? He was down.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because like I'm pretty sure I missed it. And I watched the match. Who fucking won?
Punk.
Okay, I was right. So because I looked at it at one point, I was kind of going like. I was like, did I miss something? Did Punk win this match?
Because, like, when Cabana came in, he DDT'd Raven. Then that Danny Doring guy came in and fought off Cabana, threw him over the ropes, mounted off something to Punk in the corner, and Punk was still able to crawl over and pin him 1, 2, 3 clean.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean. I completely must have zoned out at that point because I was just going, because all I remember is, even thinking about it, Raven was trying to get the count, and the ref was down. I was going, and then all the shenanigans with the fucking crucifixion and all this kind of stuff. I literally had forgotten that entire section of this match. No joke.
It's a good thing I rewatched it because I was the same.
Yeah, because when I got to the end of it, I'm not even joking, and I watched the whole match, the 33 minutes of this match, and I was there going at the end of it, I was kind of going, I must have missed something here because I genuinely don't even know who won this match. Like, I don't even know if there was a pin in this fucking match, and I watched all of it. I clearly just was not paying attention to that point.
They were so concentrated on getting Raven his heat back, they completely forgot to give Punk an actual, the winner is blah, 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 CM Punk.
I mean, and I mean, obviously, it's the Ring of Honor video watch back, so once it gets to the end, like with them standing in the ring, you don't see after the match, right? Yeah, coming back. Unless you had seen it back in the day. But yeah, man. Fucking. So
just a few high spots from myself before I throw it back to you.
Yeah.
I loved how they sold. Their selling was top notch, both Punk and Raven. Those whatever barriers they had at ringside sounded so fucking painful when they were throwing each other into them. Yeah, the first one especially. The second one kind of botched, but he properly was throwing him into that fucking barrier as well with the chain. I did like the series of clotheslines from Raven as well. I was like, how is he even getting up to keep doing it? It looked like it was caught in a loop at one stage. They all looked so clean.
A lot of this match looked like a loop.
Yeah.
No, and I don't mean that as a joke or slagging and offering. It's just a lot of sequences seemed
similar,
like they'd done it before, like moments prior. And I think that's what was a big issue. Where it was kind of like, have I seen this already? It's probably why I missed the fucking actual finish of the match because I was actually fucking looking at other shit. But go on, sorry.
No, that was it. What's your high points yourself, if you have any?
I agree with you on the Russian leg sweeps. I thought the first Russian leg sweep into the barrier was sick out. I really did think that was fucking savage. There was a spot I did actually like. There was a spot. It was a complete botch fest, but it made me laugh, so I'm putting it in here. Punk was on the top rope.
Oh yeah,
trying to balance the rope while trying to talk into the microphone and replying to the fans slagging him. I just thought it was fucking hilarious. And then Raven pulls him clean off the top rope. Punk pulling Raven down the flight of stairs. I thought that was fucking hilarious as well. It was a class fucking spot. The chair shot Dreamer delivered to Punk was fucking sick. It was sick. But there was a lot of, like, they threw each other off every inch of that barrier going around that ring.
I really liked.
Each man got a chance to.
I really liked that bit in the crowd as well, just before he threw him off the steps, where Raven handed the chair to a fan, and the fan held it up. And
And he
Raven just
fucking
goes
showed me this.
smack.
It was fucking cool. Like, and
That was pretty
that was
class.
pure ECW shit there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fan interaction and stuff. Like as I said, I've seen worse matches than this, but I've definitely seen way better matches than this.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And it's a shame because I like both these guys. You know, it was nice to see Dreamer, in shape.
He literally pops up everywhere, like, doesn't he?
Just, I mean, and you know yourself. I mean, I didn't obviously expect Dreamer, but I did expect someone when I saw. But it was a nice little red herring when, like, you know, like Colt Cabana comes in and like attacks Raven. And then what was the other guy's name again?
Danny Doring. He's from ECW as well.
Yeah, Danny Doring. And then he showed up, did the clear house and kind of get him out. Like, it was nice that they did it that way because you thought, oh, this is it. Like, your man's after Colt Cabana's after coming out. Now your man's after, you know, repaying the favor. And now they can kind of like get to the finish. And then Dreamer came out to take out Punk. But for me, as cool as it was to see Dreamer come out and kind of like, you know, embrace Raven and all that kind of stuff, pure ECW style. By the time he came out, there had been like, it was overkill on the I get it, no fucking rules to this match, but it was overkill on the amount of people that were involved outside of the main two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was yeah.
So what's your final judgment on this out of 10?
I'm going giving this a 3, but
I think you're I thought you'd actually go lower, to be honest.
no, I mean, I wouldn't go lower. I mean, I was even contemplating, should I give it a 4? But yeah, because, you know, because, and it's not, as I said, there's probably 100 people that fucking, this is their favorite match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not to shit on anyone's matches, because there's been matches I've loved that people haven't agreed with, you know, and it's not to say it's not a bad match. It's just, it's not for other people. This one just didn't end with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So myself, I gave it a 5.
Yeah. Yes, right down the middle split. Yeah.
If I'd have gone on my first watch, I would have given it a 1. And I thought to myself, that's what, it can't be that bad. So I rewatched it again, and I kind of understood it a bit more. So yeah, 8 total, not great really. Yeah, but look, sure, that's what happens sometimes. Tubbs, what's your selection for episode 43? Tell us.
Okay, so since we had the conversation at the start about, you know, trying to hit the number 50, and we're getting very, very close, I thought, you know what? For the next few weeks, let's just come out with belters. And there's a very big belter that I know a lot of people fucking love and some hate, but it's universally revered as a match. And that is WrestleMania 17, Austin versus The Rock.
Nice.
So, and it's the first Rock match we've had on the show. So,
well, I had planned on picking a Rock match the week after, but I'll go the week after that again, I think. But
I really have really amazing memories of this match.
So do
I watched.
That's why I'm scared.
I mean, no, but I mean, even when you look back at it, talk about like WrestleMania 17 is always up there. Some of the tops, because it from top to bottom, the card was fantastic.
Is that the second one or the third one?
That is their second match.
The third one then was Hollywood Rock, wasn't it?
That was Hollywood Rock, and that was 19, where Austin retired.
Oh, I know the one we have now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So that was episode 42 of Retro Wrestle Chat. Get your suggestions in. Well, we're not really doing many suggestions now because we've only got a couple of weeks left. But watch next week. We're doing The Rock versus Austin. It'll surely be better than the rubbish we watched this week. And yeah, so like, subscribe, and do all those lovely things, and comment below, and we'll see you next week. Arrivederci, mofos. Bye.